welcome to episode 5 of the TV Autopsy, slicing its way through the series you love. My name is James.
My name is Deborah.
My name is Megan.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
We're good.
Good.
The sun is shining.
It's nice. Got a bit of sunburn.
Yeah, you don't really burn though, Deborah. You go beautiful.
I burn.
Do you?
Yeah, I go a really fetching red, and then.
Yeah, but you don't go lobster, then peel and go white again, do you?
Well,
no, you don't.
How's sunny Cornwall treating you, Megan?
Well, I mean, it's lovely and it is sunny, and I burnt the other day, and on particularly my nose, and it peeled, and now it's gone again. See, as the two of you, but not our listeners, can see, I no longer have any colour. I'm very white.
I try not to go out until it's dark, so
the vampire that you are.
Anyway, so I've got a little bit of news.
Yes.
In our so we put out our Friends podcast a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? Which we were all pretty much very complimentary about the reunion.
Yes.
And we shared it on YouTube, only to find the very next morning I had a very threatening email telling me that we were in lots of trouble because we breached copyright.
Cease and desist.
Yeah, no. It's like, oh my goodness.
Were we able to get it out onto the other platforms?
Yeah, no problem with anything else. Just YouTube. So that was a shame, really. And I did write to them and just kind of a very nice email, just asking, could you let us know what bit that we did, that we copyrighted, because obviously we want to use YouTube as much as possible. But we'll see. If we get one more strike, then we'll have to. We get 3, and then we're banned for life, apparently.
I got told off once for on Instagram. Where I had a little habit of rewording songs, reappropriating songs.
Brilliant.
But the first one I ever did, I did actually have it with a little bit of the music playing in the background, just to sort of keep me in tune.
Yeah.
Didn't work. And I got properly told off for that as well on Instagram.
Wow.
It appears that you have been using this version of this song, and that's very naughty. And I was like, oh.
This wouldn't be the same song that you sang in order to get yourself onto that dog show.
No, the first one I ever did was at the beginning of lockdown, and I reworded from a distance to social distance.
Social distance. Well, that's weird, because that family that did all their, really appropriate, which has gone viral, and they've done a few songs now. So you'd wonder, why is it one rule for one and not another?
Oh, because they at least do their own music, don't they, as well?
No, they play it in the.
Oh, well, anyway, whichever way, I got told off for it. So.
Oh. Well, I think it is time for our woof date. So, Megan, if you could tell us how your aim to get onto national television, albeit Channel 5, is going.
Well, I can't remember how far I'd got last time we spoke. However,
you released your charity single.
So my Jolene charity single had been released, and Graham had seen it, laughed at it, and reposted it on Instagram. And then because Jolene had a song, Rhubarb also had to have a song, so Rhubarb's now got a song as well. But that did not get the same response from our Graham. So I need to. I haven't heard anything.
Did you not use the rhubarb and custard soundtrack? That would have got a lot of likes.
Well, it's quite an aggressive sound. Isn't it? I mean, that's probably going to get us banned from YouTube as well.
Oh.
Well, we'll find out, because I've just put it in. So there we go.
Oh, well, no, that's not the tune I used, though. So anyway, you guys can listen to it on Insta. But it's... you got to treat them evenly, haven't you? They're both as challenging as each other in different ways.
Well,
anyway, yeah, so that's it. More songs, Vicar.
Tune in next time to find out how Megan's plight is going. Anyone got any news?
Well, that was one bit of news.
Yeah. Anything else?
The little bit of the nugget of news that I rooted out this week, because it's a regular search that I do, is when is Handmaid's Tale season 4 coming to the UK?
When is it?
Channel 4 have confirmed that it is this month.
Oh, brilliant.
But I don't have a date, but they did confirm it was June.
I've got to thank you for that as well, Megan, because you talking about it really got me back into it, and I watched the whole of the third season, and I liked it. I mean, it doesn't annoy me that they escape and get back, but I suppose, to be honest, that's what happened in Doctor Who for about 50 years.
I've watched Motherland, all of it. If you've never seen it, you should watch it, even if you're not a parent, because it's still very funny and still very, very good.
Okie dokie.
It's got Carmichael from Line of Duty, and from The Terror, Mr. Goodsir, Dr. Goodsir. Yeah.
Was that the one that everybody loved? We all loved.
Yes, the very sweet one, as well as people like Diane Morgan. Joanna Lumley's in this one, as well as Sonia from EastEnders. It's just
all right, old bag, isn't it?
So good. It's so good, so funny. That's season 2, and they're really quick to get through because they're only half an hour long. So I think in total there's only about 12 episodes, something like that.
Sonia from EastEnders acts her little socks off, doesn't she? And everything she does.
She does.
I've got a little bit of news, and it's kind of about our sister podcast, The Movie Lighthouse. So, Deborah, you have famous connections, obviously, because you are a little superstar yourself. But you have a couple called Patrick and Lynn.
Yes.
Who, director, producer, writers extraordinaire.
Yes.
They have basically made their own feature film called Happy Little Bunnies, and I got the chance, thanks to you, to interview them, and that's on the Movie Lighthouse podcast. And I must say, really, really enjoyed the film. So
that's
different.
Good. That's good.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen it.
Honestly, you can get it on Amazon. It's really worth a watch. It's like nothing you've ever seen before, and the writing is brilliant.
Oh, fantastic!
I mean, they talk about there's a whole bit where they're talking about the porn industry, and it has completely opened my eyes about the whole. It's so well written. I mean, hats off, and it's not a dull moment. It's really, really worth watching, and it's like a £5.
And I know, and did Patrick write it, or did Lynn write? So Patrick wrote it and directed it.
Yes, Lynn produced it, and Lynn's performs in it. There's a little cameo for Patrick as well. But speaking to them both, they're such a nice couple, and you can see how they just love doing what they're doing, and to get a film off the ground, and their casting choices were second to none. They only, they made one big error, in my opinion, and they didn't cast you, Deborah. But
I'm
sure they're waiting to break, get big before they use.
They're kicking themselves.
They can't afford me. They can't afford me. That's it. But I watched them fall in love. So we did Panto together many years ago, back in 2004 or something.
Yeah.
And you came along to see one.
Well, that's how I opened the interview, and they were laughing their heads off when I said, because I said, I've been following your career for 20 years. Like, what?
Brilliant. Yeah. So a smashing couple, and I'm glad that's a good film. That's something to be proud of. Brilliant.
Brilliant. All right. So without further ado, let's move on to Cutting Edge.
Gentlemen, we're about to enter the fascinating sphere of police work, the world of forensic medicine.
Okay, so this is where we talk about a series that we've been watching and we enjoy. Megan, do you want to kick us off? What have you got on the recommendation list?
Well, do you know what? There's potentially one to talk about, but actually I'm going to hold off because that may form part of the decision as to what we're going to watch next month.
Okie dokie.
However, I'm just going to downgrade this from Cutting Edge to, kind of have to force myself to watch something. There's two types of program that I can guarantee that I will tune into. I think I've already said it. It's anything about dogs. But the other one is anything that is house porn related. And Your Home Made Perfect.
I love that program.
A new series has started.
Yeah.
It's 3 episodes in, and
new architects.
Exactly, they changed up the architects. I bloody love it.
I love it too.
And what's it about?
So engrossing. So it's they have a couple every week who have lived in their house for, generally they've lived in their house for years and years and years, and they're just at this point of paralysis. The house doesn't work for them, but they both want different things and they can't agree how they're going to resolve it. So they come to this program with a little pot of money or a big pot of money, depending, and 2 architects listen to all of their requirements and then create designs. But the big thing is that they then create each of those designs in virtual reality, and they all sit there and they basically explore the whole space in VR before making a decision as to whose design they're actually going to go and build. Then they go away and build and do the build work, and then you go back and you get taken through all of the decisions that they've made, and it's excellent telly.
It is. It's really good and very well described, Megan. It's so watchable, and you get lots of little tips, things that are good little tidbits from architects that you can apply to your own home. It's very good.
And the presenter is Angela
Scanlon.
Thank you. And I just think she's brilliant. She's
really
got
good.
some great little one-liners, and the way she talks with the
great
architect.
energy.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's on. I think it's BBC 2
Yeah.
on Tuesday evenings, I think, and it's on iPlayer as well.
No, Monday evenings.
Monday evenings.
Right.
Anyway, you can always catch up.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Deborah.
Mine was just as I said, Motherland. So very worthwhile watching. Regardless of whether you're a parent or not. It's about a bunch of parents at the school gates and what the characters get up to. I think you've got about 5 mums and 1 dad, stay-at-home dad, while his partner works, and it's just hilarious. Diane Morgan is hilarious. Anna Maxwell Martin, hilarious. They're all hilarious. It's just worth watching, and they're again half an hour long, very quick to get through, and you just want more. You just wanting. And
where can we see that?
So that's also BBC 2, which is on just after How to Make Your House Perfect.
Is it?
Yes.
There we go. There's a whole night for you. And for me,
because there is a whole night, because then after that is Inside on number 9. So it's just BBC 2 on a Monday night is smashing.
Also excellent.
Lovely. Well, my choice is you can find it on Channel 4, but their catch-up thing, and it's the Goldbergs. I kind of started watching it when it first came out. It's a sitcom about living in the 80s and stuff, and I've just been piling through. I'm finally on about series 7. There's about 8 series so far, I think.
Wow.
And I just like it because it's created by a guy called Adam Goldberg, whose character features in the show, and it's about when he was in the 80s. He had a video camera, made loads of spoof films, filmed his family all the time. And so they have an episode, which is usually about like something that happened in the 80s and then something that happened in his family. And then at the end, they show the real bit of footage that inspired the show, which is a nice little link. So yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Well, that must have a shelf life. I mean, they can only really do another 2 or 3 episode series, presumably.
Yeah, I mean, they get around it by...
like Heartbeat starts rolling into the 70s.
Well, what they very cleverly, what they've done is they open every show with... it was April 4th, 1980 something. So the whole 80s is kind of jamboree. There's no kind of... we don't go chronologically through. So it could be E.T. one week, and then it could be, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air the next.
Yeah.
And that's a clever idea, really. But I do think it will. I think the final episode will be, and it was New Year's Eve, 1989, or something. But yeah, it's good fun. So that's that. Now,
isn't that how the 70s show finished? Or
yeah, but they were chronological. They went through the whole 70s, which I was a big fan of as well. Right, Flatliner. Okay, Deborah, anything that you haven't liked?
I'm just trying to think what I have been watching recently, and I haven't tuned off to anything yet. I think because I've been getting through this series and obviously Motherland and various other things like Inside Number 9 and so on. I don't have anything this month.
Fair enough. And how about you, Megan?
No, do you know what? I don't. I've had several false starts on episodes where I've got partway through episode 1 or even all the way through episode 1 and just gone, nah. But I don't know whether that was just a frame of mind at the time I was watching it. So I would not like to tar any
fair enough,
any series with that brush at this stage.
Well, I am going to do exactly that because
Is it Monkey again?
I started watching it and I saw it like a review said it was brilliant, but a new Netflix series called Sweet Tooth about a pandemic which wipes out a lot of the population, and then a load of babies are born and they're hybrid animals, and it's just the first episode just did my head in. So
I watched the first episode of that and I really enjoyed it, and you may come to regret that comment.
Oh well then oh no. Okay, spoilers. Right, so let's move on to our feature, and this month we are looking at Mare of Easttown. So before we hear some facts, let's have a clip.
The Easttown Police Department received a call reporting a dead body in Freedom Creek.
We've decided to bring in a county detective to assist with the case.
How do you like working with my mom so far?
We're just getting started out. Any tips?
Lower your expectations?
Should we do this outside?
No. All right, let's go.
Hey, whoa.
Mayor,
What's happening?
She knows what's happening, Tony.
Okay?
She knows.
Mayor,
All right,
Mayor,
let's go.
Are you friends with these people?
Yeah.
Why do they call you Lady Hawk?
I made a shot in a basketball game.
Must have been some shot.
Around here, yeah.
The terrible events of this past year have ravaged this community.
Yeah? Who did this?
Okay, Deborah, queen of the fact.
I've got many. So, Mare of Easttown, a Sky Atlantic 7-episode series. It's meant to be a limited. Filmed during COVID 2020. Directed by Craig Zobel, created by a chap called Brad Inglesby, who's this was his first TV series. He usually does movie scripts. Executive producer Kate Winslet and Craig Zobel, amongst a couple of others. Starring Kate Winslet, Julianne Nicholson, who plays Mare's best friend, Laurie. And actually, Kate Winslet and Julianne Nicholson are friends in real life. She is in I, Tonya, The Outsider, Boardwalk Empire, and her husband is the actor Jonathan Cake, who is Kate Winslet's son's godfather. It's also starring Jean Smart, who plays Helen, who's Kate's mother, and of course Guy Pearce, who plays the love interest. Kate Winslet and Guy Pearce starred in Mildred Pierce together. They both won an Emmy for that. She just basically called him on the off chance because Ben Miller was meant to do the role, but then couldn't. And she just called him and he said yes. And a whole community, and I mean that in a pointed way, of actors, lots and lots and lots of actors, big cast. And I just want to say that there was one actress called Phyllis Somerville who played the character of Betty, the little old lady that dies.
Oh, yeah.
The one whose husband cheated on her with Kate's mother, with Mare's mother. She actually died in July 2020. So she actually did die in real life.
Oh, well, that's very sad indeed. All right, so Megan, give us a synopsis, will you?
Well, there's a very brief synopsis, which is that Kate Winslet plays Mare, a detective in a small Pennsylvania town who's investigating a local murder, whilst basically her entire life and all the lives around her are falling apart.
Yep.
Okay, all right, so let's get into it. Well, okay, cards on the table. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really well-made series, but I could not help watching this without being reminded quite heavily of Broadchurch and Twin Peaks.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's another detective, you know, detective pairing, you know, solving the mystery of, you know, a murdered girl.
Yep.
And lots of tropes there, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, what do you two think? How did you see a lot of other things in this show?
Yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And actually, Broadchurch was one of the series that they based, you know, that they were inspired by. So there's a number of series that they mentioned quite openly, quite honestly, you know, this was inspired by blah, 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 blah. But actually the creator, Brad Inglesby, he was inspired to write the show after speaking to a police officer friend in a small station which had just one detective and basically handled all the cases. And he grew up in Philadelphia, and so he wanted to kind of combine. He thought it would be an interesting combo. So kind of inspired by his mate, as well as all these other sort of series that we all know and love. It was deliberate. Yeah.
Okay. And what drew you to this, Deborah?
Sorry?
Why did you choose this one?
Because I love Kate Winslet. I think she's excellent. I think she's got lots going on whenever she acts. She chooses very wisely when she does various pieces of where she does various projects. So, and I just find it very watchable. And I started watching it and thought this has got to be one that's got to be on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Deborah on that one. I'm pre-inclined to like something that Kate Winslet's in.
Yeah, me too.
She is excellent, and she, as you said, Deb, she makes really good choices. And I think, and I would agree with everything, that there's a certain formula around, you know, your troubled detective pursuing a murder or something like that. But I kind of felt that was more just, it helped to hang all the other bits off it, and it's more about the community and the relationships in a small town, and how everyone's related to everyone else and knows everybody else's business.
Yeah.
And the layering of the generational, I mean, I love the sort of like the generational relationships with Kate and her mum and her daughter and grandson and everything. So it was all of that. It was basically, for me, it gave me the feels that a really good book does, where it develops the characters and it just weaves in all of the history that's brought them to where it is. And it's kind of like using this central, the missing girl and then the murder as a bit of that wasn't the be all and end all.
It was almost a sideline, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a vessel.
It was more than a crime drama or thriller. It was like a character study. You know, there was drugs, the opioid crisis, suicide, divorce, raising a grandson, the custody battle, domestic burdens, middle-aged woman, which is not glamorous at all.
Yeah,
you know,
we'll come to that in a second, because I think that's a really good talking point. I just wanted to say as well, because, right, if this was a horror film or if this was a romantic comedy or something, nobody would really kind of pin so much on it. And I think it's not a problem having, you know, the detective drama, the murder mystery, and you have to have a load of characters in order for us to kind of get involved and wonder who's done it and what the plot's behind it. So I'm perfectly happy with that trope. But I agree, Kate Winslet is quite a remarkable actor, and you know, and she made very good creative choices about this, didn't she? About how she looked. You know, she didn't want to look glamorous.
And how she sounded. I read that the accent that she and her mother had to learn how to do it, and she's actually had, I mean, who knows? It's probably like someone trying to do a Cornish accent, and it's either terrible or it's like, that's possible. But
it's notoriously difficult, isn't it? This Delco accent.
Yeah, and so she nailed it.
Yeah. So actually, all the actors were terrified of getting it wrong, and the creator, grew up in Philadelphia, would record, his wife, and then they would sit and listen to, because nothing, it doesn't follow a certain pattern. They're just different words that sound different and elongated and so on. And it turns out that this, they call it the Delaware County accent, or Delco for short. Kate Winslet was like, oh, I've done Armenian, oh, I've done German, I know I could do this. She felt it was really tricky, but she was the only one of the cast that when they stopped shooting, she would go back to her normal English accent, whereas all the other actors were absolutely terrified to do that, because they felt that they would lose it. They'd lose it. And then there's this obviously massive big section in during the summer last year where filming had to stop from March to September, and all the actors were just, terrified of losing everything.
Oh, wow. So there's a huge gap in production in this.
Yeah, huge gap. So they started in October 2019 to March 2020. And actually, it was like the day after Guy Pearce's first day on set that they then locked down. In the September, Kate Winslet and Guy Pearce and a couple of other actors, I think Helen and the daughter Siobhan, they went and shared a house together, and things started to go up again. But apparently 50% of the writing of the story, not the story, but the script had to be rewritten in order to get the safety guidelines in place. So it was all rewritten.
But it was very well done, because I don't know if they made creative filming choices with that, but
they had to, yeah.
But you didn't really notice. I mean, we know that in the early days of when Coronation Street and EastEnders came back, I watched the EastEnders episode, and it was just, oh my god, it was cringeworthy how they were struggling to do film it. Right, Megan, did you find this a page turner? As in, did you just watch episode by episode, or were you desperate to get to the next one? Did you kind of binge it, or how?
Well, I didn't binge it because it was released on a weekly basis. So I think I watched the first 2 episodes, and then it was just drip fed.
Yeah.
Or maybe
how did that work? How did that work? Because I watched it over a course of a weekend, and I loved the cliffhangers, but it didn't. I didn't have any time between them. Did that work?
Yeah,
yes, it does.
I quite like it. I missed it, and this is what we were saying for Line of Duty. We've got so used to binging.
Yeah,
you don't have time to reflect on anything in between time.
To ruminate.
And so I quite liked kind of going away for a week and going, what is that priest up to?
Yeah.
And why
things that you think about that you didn't think about at the time. It's like, is Guy Pearce a red herring, or is he something to do with the crime?
Well, it did get to the point where he climbed back in the car and drove off, and I was just like, well, that was so disappointing. And it was only afterwards when I'd read that he was a last-minute stand-in.
Yeah, an accidental.
Oh, is that right?
He was an accidental red herring. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because
he was basically there to just give a little bit of light to the darkness that Mare was experiencing.
But I think it was a good creative choice because of who he was. You were constantly thinking, is there something more to him? And I mean, did you kind of, there were the 2 kind of storylines going, weren't there? There was the missing girl and there was the murdered girl. The missing girl storyline was very much Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs, yeah,
very much
through and through. I mean, that scene was a real homage but I really, really enjoyed it. Did anyone guess the plot, see the way through, or was it a complete surprise to you?
I thought that they would still be alive. She would still be alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the murder, finding out who did the murder.
Oh,
that was a shock.
That was a twist.
I mean, I knew there was going to be a twist, and then there were bits that I was convinced that it wasn't him. I thought it was very cleverly done, but it wasn't.
It kept you guessing, didn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't, not in a thriller kind of a way. It was in just a twist and a turns kind of way.
Yeah.
But the way it bounced from the brother-in-law to the husband to the son, we haven't given a
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Well,
you'll have to say it.
Yeah, I mean, I might put. The thing is, with all the things that we talk about in our review, we have to break it down because it's the nature of what we're doing. I'll put a spoiler in the feed, but it's like it's a sin. We can't not talk about the death of the characters, you know. So
yeah, but this is definitely built around part of the premise is the twist.
I'll put some in at the start. Although it was quite grey and it seemed to be raining an awful lot and cold, it did have quite a bit of humour in, really, I thought. What did you think about that, Deborah? Did you get the humour? Did you like the humour? Was it?
Yeah, I think they needed to, there needed to be moments of comic relief, and Evan Peters, who played the detective Colin Zabel, not to be confused with the director Craig Zobel, but that's obviously a deliberate thing.
Okay.
He was actually simultaneously filming WandaVision.
Oh, was he now?
Yes, he was.
So he played the brother, the uncle in the Wayward Uncle in WandaVision.
Yes, so he plays the sort of insecure detective that didn't actually solve the crime at all, the other crime, and that sits alongside Kate Winslet as a mini partner in law, and
I did think that was a lovely little revelation.
I thought it was a great performance from him.
It was a lovely, it was a lovely relationship, and he had tried out lots of various things to bring comedy to it, which the director loved. So the getting drunk at the bar scene, and I've got to pick up my bagel, that kind of thing. And actually, in real life, Evan Peters felt quite insecure about it, thinking he did a horrible job. But when he sees it back on screen, and the director loved it and just thinks it's really hilarious. And the last actual scene that they ever filmed was the dinner scene that he filmed, was the dinner scene between him and Kate Winslet, and and he's kind of looking down at his plate. So all of these things that he brings into it just gives it a bit of comic relief. And then he goes in, then episode 5 happens.
Yeah, but what a brilliant shock, because I really wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
He dies very quickly, very suddenly, very instantly. No long death scene. Brilliant. Can I just say there was the laugh out loud moment when the daughter of Kate Winslet had brought home her new girlfriend, and her ex was lying on the sofa,
listening on the headphones on the sofa.
She just gets up and does she scream or just
everyone freaks out, and it ends up with the grandmother being concussed,
just knocked out.
And do you know what? Funny. Do you know what's interesting about that is that I just found up another little fact, and the character of Helen, who's played by Jean Smart. This is the mum of Kate Winslet. She decided very early on that she would always be eating or drinking in her scenes, and she injured herself in a scene where she was leaning on the stairwell railing, and she was leaned too far forward, and she fell. She broke a rib. She sustained concussion and was in hospital for 5 days. And while they were waiting for the paramedics to arrive, Kate Winslet was supporting her back and jokingly reassuring her, "It's all right, Mummy. They're nearly here, Mummy." To the point which the paramedic mistook her for Kate Winslet's daughter. So I'm just wondering if that was put into that particular scene and worked into that scene of her falling over at the foot of the stairwell and being concussed, and then being and lying in hospital, because it was funny for them to reenact that. Yeah.
So, I think Wendy Richards, who played Pauline Fowler, always had to have a prop, always had to have something to do when she was doing a scene. That was big. I'll tell you what I didn't like, what made me feel uncomfortable. I don't know if you two felt the same, but there was certainly one or two scenes, certainly one, where the baby was in quite a lot of distress. Now, usually this thing doesn't bother me, but that baby looked really upset. And I just thought, I don't know. I know we have to see an upset baby, I get the point of it, but at what point do we go too far? Because that kid doesn't know he's acting. He is basically been traumatized a little bit. What do you, Deborah and Mal, what do you think?
Yeah, it was distressing, particularly the cry in the last episode when he's just about to go in for his ear operation. He had a very strange way of crying. It's very breathy. But yeah, I mean, I would wonder that, Kate Winslet was notoriously very protective of the young actors on set. So I'm presuming that she would also be, you know, protected as a mother of 3 herself, of the baby not going through.
Yeah. So come on, we just got to pinch that baby a little harder. We need to make her cry a little bit louder.
But we don't know that. I mean, I don't know. Presumably, babies do cry anyway, and some of the noise, the sound could be overlaid to make it a more distressful.
I just thought he looked so upset, that kid. I don't know, and it doesn't usually happen. Go on, Megan, sorry.
Well, I didn't register it to that extent.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
More about
it might have been a bit. I mean, it was very not right. Honestly, it was a bit patronising. But we had a death storyline. We had autism there. We had Down syndrome. We had Tourette's. We had mental health.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem like shoehorned in. They seemed to fit very nicely into the narrative of the stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Megan, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if have you ever read Wally Lamb?
No.
He has written some absolutely phenomenal books, and one of them was televised. I know this much is true. And the books generally don't have a core plot. They're just these evolving, emerging backstories and character reveals and everything. And it felt a bit like that. If he wrote a murder mystery, it felt like this. And he writes a lot of quite complex characters, but not in a way that you feel that they've been shoehorned in. They're just, you know, people do have experienced these, and families do have those things to deal with. And you know, I mean, I don't come from a small post-industrial town in Pennsylvania, but I would imagine that they have all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah, they really wanted authenticity, and so Brad Inglesby, who wrote and created this, because he'd previously written movie scripts and he'd never written a TV script before, he had to learn how to space out a story for over 6-7 hours, whilst obviously maintaining that kind of mystery, you know, mystery element, and you know, do all the cliffhangers and things. But it said that he really enjoyed spending more time on the supporting actors that are usually ignored in movie scripts. And because he grew up there, he wanted to have all the authenticity going on, and it was absolutely vital that the community seemed authentic. And so the cast spent a significant amount of time talking with each other and developing a backstory and history with one another, offset, to build the town and create those layers of relationships and things. And I think that came across, and you have all the diversity that comes with a small town, and not just a normal small town, but a very unglamorous, low-income American kind of health and well-being, kind of eroded by poverty type of town, opioid crisis, you know, that kind of, and it felt like that. It felt, you know, grey and struggling.
Do we like the style? Do we like the looks, the music, all of that?
Yeah. The music, I was a little bit, particularly at the end.
I didn't really notice it. I didn't just, it was just there, I think.
No, it wasn't 80s. Didn't take me back to childhood, so I didn't hear it.
No, the bit about the music was really for me at the end, where everything was sort of coming together quite, I don't know, quite conveniently. You know, the cancer victim friend, her hair had grown back, her daughter was now in the new house. You know, the English lesson in prison is enjoyable in the juvenile prison. You know, Dylan paying the money to Laurie, and then obviously giving dead mum Erin's money. You know, being all selfless, and the best friend musing over the fun times with the friend over the photograph, and then Kate climbing into the loft, and the mother of Drew backing out, and you know, Siobhan going off to university, and the music kind of montage that went with all of that. I just felt a bit, that's a bit cheesy.
There was a lot of things going on. All right, so before we get on to the big five, is there anything that really stood out that you didn't like, that was confusing, or problems with it?
That we didn't like.
Yeah.
Just what I said there.
Okie dokie. Sorry.
We have a suspension of belief in the.
Yeah, we have. We'll get on to that now. So it is the big five.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so we're going to kick off with performance of the series. Megan, who's your nomination?
Well, it's Kate, isn't it?
Kate for me.
I've got some standbys because it was an excellent cast.
Yeah.
You only get to choose one. Kate.
Well, it was Kate.
Yeah, Deborah?
Yeah, exactly the same. Kate, subtle, multi-layered, so much truth, so much depth behind her eyes, very understated, very, I think, powerful, award-winning. You know, I just want to talk about, because you said that you mentioned earlier that we would talk about the physical kind of representation, and she talks about it a lot. You know, this very unglamorous, and Guy Pearce also being very unglamorous, where previously very handsome. You know, just the physical representation of grief. You know, which is her roots that are grown through that physical representation that she's experienced. You know, that her
Columbo has a different view.
That her self-care had gone. You know, Kate's trademark eyebrows filled in. You know, and you know, the showing of her belly during the sex scene. Just Kate. Sorry, and with wardrobe, they would go and look for like baggy stuff, bad jeans they called it, and usually at the end of when you wrap for the day, wardrobe would take your clothes away. They would, you know, wash it, iron it, hang it up. But she wanted it to be left in a pile on the floor where she'd left it, and pick
Fold
it up,
throw it in the corner,
and pick it up next day and continue on. Because again, it's that physical representation of don't have time. Don't really care for my well-being, what I look like, my hair's not... Because the network wanted her to be glamorous. The network wanted to have barreled hair and full-on makeup. But she said no, she wasn't having it. To the point that actually the billboards itself, the posters...
Well, yeah.
She kept sending back and saying, I know I've got, you know, certain wrinkles around my eyes. Put them back in.
She rejected the photoshopping on the promotional material several times for that reason, as Deborah says. And then also in the sex scene...
The tummy.
The belly,
yeah. She was given the opportunity to be digitally enhanced, and she said no.
way. Yeah, she wanted to be a real 40-something. Yeah.
Good for Kate. All right, so Deborah, set piece of the series.
It's got to be the rescue mission, I think. That was very edge of your seat, and Silence of the Lambsy.
Yeah, I've put the same, the bar, same with the girls.
I did too. I had that too, but as an alternative in case somebody picked that first. I also had, I did really like the scene at the radio station. It was a bit of comic relief where Siobhan and her band are there, and one of them is just overindulged.
Yeah.
And bombs.
Funny. Okay, effect of the series. Well, I've put here the Kate's look.
The unglamorous. I've put that as well. The unglamorous nature of everything, of everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Meg?
Yeah. I actually was kind of more on their way. I don't think there were any special effects. I think it was just, but yes.
Yeah, it's a struggle that one was, to be honest. All right, so suspension of disbelief. Megan, anything?
Well, there was a bit that really annoyed me.
Oh.
So when Mare tries to frame her grandson's mother with the heroin that she takes from the evidence locker.
Yeah.
Now, she is a good detective, and yet she has left evidence of her being the one for... So literally by the following morning, the chief is on her doorstep, taking her badge and gun off her. And that's, you know, I appreciate that it was her sheer desperation, but she seemed to have forgotten all of her police training.
Yeah.
But I would question in terms of the character behind that she wanted to be caught. She knew she did a bad thing, and she kind of felt that she didn't deserve to get away with it. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Maybe.
But she did do a lot. This is the thing as well about it being this very silent kind of breakthroughs that she's having with her therapy. So we see a very different Mare from the very start to the very end. Yeah. It's not like this kind of revelation of, now I know that I can't fix everything because I feel guilty about not being able to fix my suicidal and now dead son. It's just very, it was very sort of subtle. Live.
Oh, go on. Hold on. Let's do this bit, then you can end with that wonderful quote.
Fine.
All right. Resuscitation factor. Could it be brought back?
Well,
No, I think so.
Brad Inglesby said it was written as a limited. He didn't, there's no more mystery to solve. And what I'm just saying about, we've learnt that Mare has had a breakthrough with her therapy, and she's moving on, to that untapped trauma. He has said that if he and Kate could crack a story together, yes, they could potentially be. But and Kate Winslet has said she mourns the character. She would love to play her again. Big Little Lies was only meant to be one series, but
all right, what do you
obviously
think?
the popularity spurred it on to 2 and 3 series now. I think it should probably just be left there. I mean, I loved it, but it probably should be left there. I mean,
I think, if we're talking about Broadchurch, the first series was great, but you can't put that lightning back in a bottle. You can only have one dead child or one dead girl, really. And as soon as, it's trying to think of another way and then getting all the same characters that you love back into the same story.
But you don't need all the same characters. You need a handful of them to be relevant. I kind of feel that there is scope for it to be resuscitated, but it would need to be different. So it couldn't be like the Big Little Lies that they just continue. They continued the previous storyline. You would have to throw something else in.
I think the only way that they could do it, because even though it's called Mare of Easttown, it could actually be Helen, Kate's mum of Easttown. It could be Laurie of Easttown. They've all got their stories. So if they were going to do it,
interesting take.
They could go down. Okay, now this is Laurie of Easttown, and this is her story. Or
and you don't even have to see the other characters. Actually, the whole.
But they could flit in and out.
A few of them, yeah.
As and the focus is on them. I think that would be the only thing, really.
All right, guys, we've been talking for quite a while, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Anyone got any final thoughts or comments that they want to make before we score it?
Learn to live with the unacceptable. That's a
very good quote.
Yeah, that was one of her.
All right, come on, let's score it. So, Megan, kick us off. Storyline and plot.
6.
Okay, Deborah.
8.
8 from me. Deborah, characterizations and performances.
9.5, 10.
Ooh, good. 9 from me.
10.
Good stuff. Style gets an 8 from me.
9.
6.
Originality, Megan.
4.
8.
4. And absorption factor, Deborah.
9.
8.
7.
Okay, so let's add up our scores.
I did cry at the end.
Oh, did you now?
I did. When she hugged, I was crying at the end, but when she was hugging her best friend,
I thought it had the ending was excellent. I thought it was, which made it not the thriller. It made it just, the closing of a chapter of all of these complex characters, and the fact that she was able to break through that, being seen as the person who took away her son.
Yeah. There is a big speculation out there now, or big debate out there now about Mare's character. So how you were saying about the stupid factor of why did she put the drugs in that in the car of her daughter-in-law. Then they're also saying, should she have been written to see Ryan arrested or not? Could she have left it be, like Laurie said? Why couldn't you have just left it? Now you've destroyed my entire family. Would she have let it be, or was her character rightly written to?
I thought her character was rightly written to see it through. Thing. I don't think she could have let that go.
Right. Yeah, I think she did the right thing. Right, come on, scores. Megan, what did you get on the total?
66.
66. And Deborah?
Oh, yes, I'm doubling it, aren't I?
Yes, please.
88.
88. So that gives us a TV autopsy BPM of 76%, which puts it just below The Terror.
Yes.
But above Friends. There we go. I think that's pretty good.
Quite right.
Yeah, so number three. Very good indeed. Right, wow. Well, that was a big mystery. So now on to our final mystery of the podcast. Megan, do you have some clues for us for what we are going to be watching for next month?
Right, up front, I've got 2 options. So you have to choose whether you're going to go for the triangle or the star.
Oh, I'm going to go for the star. Deborah?
And these are visual representations of...
No, these are just so that
Yeah,
you didn't have
too
A
far.
and B or 1 and 2, which might lead you to assume that one was better than the other.
Oh, then...
Well, if we choose one each, then we're stuck in the same position. So what do you want to go for, Deborah? Come on.
Well, I'll go for the star with you.
All right,
then.
let's do the star.
Okay. You will be glad to hear that the triangle was Sweet Tooth.
Oh, thank God. Right. Have you got any clues for us?
So the clue number 1, its well-known creator and director departed after the first 4 episodes due to some very unpleasant revelations about his previous treatment of cast and crew on previous projects.
Oh, is it Ghosts?
Ooh, no, I've no idea. Okay.
Clue 2, it stars Laura Donnelly, who played Jamie Fraser's sister in Outlander, and also the lovely Nick Frost is in it.
Oh, I still don't know. Okay, Deborah, any ideas?
No.
Okay, final clue.
Clue number 3, this should give it away. It's a steampunk Victorian-based drama about a group of people with weird powers.
The Nevers.
Yes.
Now, I started watching The Nevers, and I watched the first 3 episodes.
Well, now you've got to watch
hold on, hold it for next time.
Yeah, I've also been asked to be in The Nevers, but I just don't have the time to do it.
We'll tune in next month to find out all about that.
So it's 6 episodes. It's on Sky.
Looking forward to looking at that. So just before we go, guys, we'd like to hear from people if you want to get in touch. How can people get in touch with us? We have a Facebook page, TV Autopsy. Any other ways? We have an email, tvautopsy@gmail.com.
We've got Instagram.
We've got
DM us.
Twitter.
TV Autopsy.
Yep.
And that's it. So if you can't manage to do any of those, then don't bother getting in touch, frankly.
Come on, hit us up.
Well, on that cliffhanger for next month, I suppose I will bid you both adieu. I enjoyed that series. Thanks, Deborah.
Yes, that was a good one.
All right, so we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
See you later.
Bye-bye.